The girl boss movement is enabling a lot of this materialism, and I dislike it. Woman's biggest blessing and asset is their intelligence. We take time for granted so much because we don't see that the clock that's ticking, but I see it because it was ticking for me once. I shouldn't be here.
You said you built 7-figure business, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't you say purpose done, purpose fulfilled?
No, we're only just starting. So we didn't have a landing page, there was no logo, there was no name, we had no website. I just had a Stripe link. I ended up making like $75,000 to $80,000 at university. Teacher that told me I wouldn't amount to anything. Every single time I've been featured on Forbes, I sent him the screenshot on Facebook. That is truly my ultimate motivation for anything, to truly pursue my dad's vision.
Lara, this is the first of its kind because we actually, I suppose, worked together on the CEOcast live event first before we even got to the podcast. So we're doing it the other way around. Yes. But I'm interested to see what's what.
I'm so glad you had me. It was so much fun.
It was. And I'm thank you. You shared so much knowledge there on that day that I know with this podcast you're going to share an immense amount of knowledge as well here.
Thank you.
But with that being said, how would you best introduce yourself?
I would say I'm an accidental entrepreneur. So I completely stumbled into entrepreneurship by accident. I actually did not intend to do this. I wanted to work at a bank or something, maybe an accountant, I don't know. I'm not good at maths, but basically, yeah. And now I've built 3 businesses. I'm building a software, so a SaaS, and an angel investor. I don't even know how I got here.
You're 27 years old, right?
Yes.
How do you feel at such a young age to be doing all of that and be an accidental entrepreneur?
I feel like I'm so late. Like I'm seeing all of these 18-year-olds making millions with Snapchat, and I just feel like I'm catching up to them.
But I would say that no one's really accidentally an entrepreneur. It's always, I mean, if you think about it, if you go back to your story, what you said right there, you said you always wanted to be something within banking or, work a corporate job, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then it came later on into your life. So would you really say it's an accident, or would you say
completely
it was planned?
Completely. I had no interest in entrepreneurship. I used to think that it was a scam, because who in the right mind would actually spend their entire day and night working towards something and not have a holiday? Like, is that is insane. So completely accidental. I actually swore to my parents I would never do that. My parents specifically put me in business things around me because they wanted me to be an entrepreneur. So they made me study business at A level. They made me study business for university. I wanted to study like fitness or something, health and whatever that is, or economics. And they were like, no, study business. And I hated every single part of it because business at university is so basic that it's boring. But it gave me an advantage of, like, I had so much time to do other things like mess around at university and become a powerlifter. And also I got a PT qualification, and that really helped me. But I had no interest, no interest.
You mentioned something there, right? Of you didn't want to start a business purely down to location freedom and the freedom that you can get, right? Now that you've got businesses, and you said 3 businesses as well, would you say you have that freedom that you thought you wouldn't have?
Do I have that freedom that I think I wouldn't have? Yeah, I do. But I didn't think that when I was thinking about working in corporate, I wasn't thinking about the freedom of traveling. I was more so looking for safety. When you work a corporate job, there is this idea that you get a weekly or monthly paycheck. You have insurance, you have a stable job. Obviously now with all of these layoffs going off, like it's obvious to me that that was not the case. But in reality, that's what school kind of makes you aspire towards, right? You finish university, maybe you do a master's, and then you get your dream job. And then everything came crashing down for me when I realized that this certificate that was given after 3 years of studying and working my ass off didn't mean anything. So then I had to become an entrepreneur. By complete accident, I fell into it, but it was never planned. If you ask my dad though, he'd say like, yeah, that was planned, but I didn't see it coming. No,
not at all.
No.
Well, you're best known on LinkedIn, right? And I suppose LinkedIn's where it all started for you. And there's a statement here that was sent to me to mention to you, right? You've said that 90% of LinkedIn creators will become irrelevant soon. What do you think's changed? And what content do you think we will see and win going forward?
So we've been analyzing LinkedIn content over the last 6 months. Me and my team, I literally have a data team now analyzing every single trend and every single expert in the platform. And what's happening is that LinkedIn wants to enter the creator economy, but not in the way most platforms are. So LinkedIn, if we look at it from a just basic point, it's a B2B platform and its main interest is to create revenue for its investors, right?
Yep.
So when they try to enter the creator economy by pushing virality and doing all of these things, they lose because their main investors, their interest is professionalism. So when I said 90% of LinkedIn users are going to be irrelevant, is because they are posting content that looks like Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. LinkedIn doesn't want that. They want expertpreneurs. They want expert level content that actually gives some value that people want to read. Like professionals want to read case studies, but in a micro way. We are living in the short form attention era, and LinkedIn wants to benefit from it. It's just figuring out how. And I know how. A lot of people know how, but now they're trying to teach it to more people so more people can actually start implementing, teaching at a micro scale with micro content like Instagram and TikTok, but more educational, not just entertainment.
Yeah. Well, Lara, let's come more onto everything LinkedIn shortly, because I want to dive it all the way back to Lara as a kid and talk about your whole upbringing and how we got to this point right here.
Trauma
so if you had,
dump.
say that again?
I'm going to trauma dump on you.
Trauma dump. Let's do it. Let's dump all the trauma on the table and figure out
Therapy.
what's what. Therapy,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's treat this as a therapy session. By no means
You
am
don't
I a
want that.
therapist. I do want that. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Sweet. So tell me, where do we begin? Let's talk about Lara from 5 years old, if you can remember.
Oh, I can't remember her. Boom. Yeah, I can't remember her. I can't remember Lara at 10. I remember Lara at 13.
Why? Why 13 specifically?
I think 13 was a very pivotal age for me. It was when I started realizing that I didn't fit in anywhere. Like, I have always been the black sheep of my family.
Did you grow up in London as well?
No, I grew up in Mexico.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I moved when I was 15. So I have no family ties here. I moved here on my own. And then at 13, it was peak adolescence for me. I was trying to figure out who I was while having extremely strict parents. And all my friends were going out. They were already smoking, drinking, driving. And I was just at home. My parents telling me to go to a networking event or something, making me read a Donald Trump book. And I was like, I just want to hang out with the girls. They wouldn't let me go to sleepovers. They wouldn't let me go to parties. So I always felt like I was being left out. And that really, I took it very personally because I hated my parents for taking that away from me. And I couldn't really make friends. And I was kind of weird because I wasn't exposed to that social interaction. I was consistently talking to older people because my parents would take me to their events and their social things. And so I didn't know how to interact with girls my age. So then I became this kind of like weird internet kid where I was looking for connection on the internet. And in some ways I found it. I discovered YouTube in the early eras of blogs, and YouTube has raised me.
What were you talking? You said when you were 13, so we are talking, when was I 13? I can't even remember.
Like 12 years ago.
Yeah, 2012-ish, roughly.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And I'm interested to know, which I'm sure you're probably going to get into as well, but why did you move to London? Because it's funny because this podcast couldn't happen at a better time. I literally just came back from America and I spoke to so many Americans, one of which who actually went from Mexico to New York, right?
Right.
And, you know, everyone in America, we grew up in this whole idea of the American dream. So why not go, I mean, you would have to travel maybe a few hours to one of the states there rather than 7 hours to London. What was the change there?
My dad always wanted the European dream because he came to England before he had me. And he always tells me the story that when he was walking the streets of London, when he came to study here, he was fully, his company sent him to study. He couldn't afford it otherwise. And he always said that he wanted me. Like he made me that even before meeting my mum. And so my dad's interest in being a father, I think has a massive pull into my life right now. Everything. It's crazy. He manifested every single second of my entire life. So it was him. I had no interest in coming to London. I actually never imagined being in England at all. I just woke up one day and they were like, yeah, you're off. And I was like, what do you mean?
So did they send you to London?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got shipped out.
So it wasn't necessarily your choice then?
No.
Okay.
If it was up to me, I would have stayed in Mexico because I didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
But my parents had this grand vision And to me, that every single day, I respect that even more, because I think that they have the perfect marriage and relationship, and even being parents, they were truly invested in having a daughter. They didn't just want kids, they wanted a kid, and they envisioned the 20 years of life. They treated me like a business plan, which is
The Lara project.
which was my mom actually called me a project. It was weird because my mom is I recently found out she's autistic, which is the best thing I could have ever learned, but we can go into that later. And she would tell people that she would treat me like a project, and they were like, oh well, let us know how your little project goes. And people would make fun of my parents for treating it as a business plan, but I guess it worked.
Well, like I said, we're going to go into the therapy side of things then. How did that make you feel at the time then, growing up as almost this project kid?
At the time, it was obviously quite offensive because it felt like I wasn't allowed to be a kid. I was just this thing that was happening. And I didn't really see my dad because he's a workaholic. He's an entrepreneur of his own. And then my mom raised me almost like a single mom, but didn't. Like my dad and my mom are together and they love me so much, and I know that. But at the time, I had a lot of resentment, of course. And to be honest, I'm glad that I had that, because I had so much energy to now put into everything that I do. I have so much resentment. I have the biggest chip on my shoulder. But yeah, at the time, it felt like shit. But now I'm fine.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
So when you came to London, where did you grow up?
I grew up in the south. So in this small town called Taunton in Somerset.
I went so you went south?
Yeah, I was in south.
I thought you were going to say like South London.
No. My parents, obviously they tried to find a school that could actually take me in without me being there. So I had to go to boarding school.
I was going to say, because if you had no family here.
I wasn't allowed to live on my own. And my parents truly saved a lot of money to get me to boarding school. It wasn't, the craziest boarding school or anything. And my journey started there. And it was a complete chaos, because boarding school versus Mexican school, completely different.
Talk to me about the differences.
Well, firstly, I entered Harry Potter land. The school that I went to, and every single school in England kind of looks like a Harry Potter repeat. Like, it just looked the same. So for a bit, I was fangirling, but then I realized that it's not just the idea. People are strict. You have to wear this long skirt uniforms. I had to go to church like twice a week. I was raised atheist.
Was it like a Christian boarding school?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't that. I'm Christian now, but I was raised atheist. My parents are Buddhist. It didn't make sense. I hated everything. There was so much control. I had to board. I went from living on my own because I'm a single child to living with 20 other girls, kind of trying to understand myself, find me, find them, see why I didn't really miss my parents. I was trying to make friendships. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I was being pulled into all of these directions, because as soon as you go into school, they're already thinking about A-levels and university. And I just didn't have I just got here. And then all of these things were thrown at me, plus all of these new social standards and netball, hockey. Like, what the fuck is netball? Like, we don't have that there. So, and then like, it was just crazy. But ultimately, I fell in love with England because it was meant to just be 1 year. And it's been like 15.
Was it your choice to stay?
Yes.
Really? Okay. So then I'm assuming that year was good then.
It changed my life. Coming to England, I think as soon as I landed from that plane, I felt at home. I never felt at home in Mexico. I felt at home in England for some reason. And I don't really know why. I can't explain it. I just know that people here understood me better than at home. And I think that newly found freedom that I was given, even though it was extremely strict at boarding school, I found me. And I think I'd always been looking for who I truly was.
How would you say you found it, right? Because going back to what you said that growing up in Mexico, your parents would always take you to events where you'd talking to a lot more older people. And now you've gone to a boarding school full of other girls your age.
Yeah.
So you've gone from, I suppose, kind of socially awkward in Mexico to you've kind of got to be socially aware in England. So how did that whole dynamic change? Did you adapt to it quickly? Was it a long-term thing? Was you socially awkward in England when you first came?
So I remember the first time I went into the common room of school, and there were all of these kids, And I had a panic attack, I remember. And then I called my mom and she was like, we'll deal with that. And I was like, okay, great, parental advice, mother. And so I was like, I need to adopt a new personality, otherwise I'm not gonna make it. So in that second, I didn't know that I was doing it, but I looked around me and I just looked at the different types of people that were in the room, the popular kids, the sporty ones, the shy ones. And I tried to find what I liked about every single one of them. I just took it and created my own perfect version of this girl that I would aspire to become. So the intelligence from the nerdy people, the charisma from the popular girls, the beauty from like the Russian girls, obviously that I was at university with. And then over time, I created the person that you see today. And it became this thing for me that I would see the people that I really liked. I would understand why I liked them. And I would sort of try to become that as a result. So if the cool people were studying, I wanted to study as well. And then I just became interested in different things. And yeah, that's pretty much how I did it.
Why do you think it's important to adapt and shift into different people?
Well, if you are in consistent different scenarios, and this is the massive and biggest business hack I could ever give to anyone, especially a woman, you need to understand that if you adapt quickly to a situation, you can win and you can get whatever you want from whatever you're trying to achieve. If you don't adapt, then you'll never change and you'll never progress. And that's where the problem with authenticity today is happening across social media. Like, I must be seen for who I am and like people should love me for who I am. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but that's not gonna get you to what you wanna get to or where you wanna go. You need to understand how different rooms and environments are curated and how well can you be, how much of an asset could you become in that room. So if you're new to something, then you need to prove your worth and your value. It's the same thing with business. Like when you're starting a business, you have to start doing free work. My first podcast that I did, I had to ask for it because no one would invite me. And then I would be like, hey, I can actually help you do this. And that's how I got there. And now look at me, like I'm doing 2 podcasts a month or whatever, but it didn't start by accident. You manufacture your own luck with these things. So adapt, then be useful, and then luck happens.
I'm looking back at your life and looking back at my life, right?
Are we similar?
No, but here's my point. We're not similar because I remember myself at 15, 16 years old, you know, that would be year 9, year 10, whatever it may be. And I can just remember coming home from school, playing PlayStation with the boys, going for bike rides, doing what a kid would do.
Yeah, no.
The question to you I have is, looking back at your life, do you feel like you grew up way too quick?
Yeah, most people tell me that I've got an old soul, like a wise soul, and I'm like, yeah, I was brought up by adults and in an adult's era. I never got the chance to be a kid, and I guess that's fine. Like it's made me very wise. I have a lot of depth because if you put a girl for 15 years in one room because she has no sisters, all I can do is think. And so I thought myself into oblivion. I thought about everything that could be thought because I had nothing else to do. My parents wouldn't really let me use technology for more than 2 hours or 3 hours when I was growing up. So I just sat and thought about things. And then that allowed me to become more aware of things. But I don't think I resent it now. I think everything that my parents do, like I call them every single week or every day. And I'm like, thank you.
Really?
Yeah. Like I've made it a habit to really truly thank my parents for how intentional they were raising me. Because there was so much love there that I mistook as harshness or hate or maybe neglect. But it was truly a deep desire for me to make it out of Mexico.
Yeah.
And I did.
Do you have any siblings?
No.
No. Okay, so only child. Only child. Talk to me about that decision when you decided that you wanted to stay in the UK in England, right? Because I'm assuming you would have had a phone call with your parents and discussed the future plans from that point there, or
it was just a no-brainer. There was just no going back. I had become such a different person than the person that I left Mexico to who I was after 1 year, that they decided that it was in their best interest to keep me there. Because for them, England was safe. Mexico, to them, was not safe. Especially for a young, rebellious daughter that was sneaking out. And, you know, there was this one time, and I said this on camera, but like I took my mom's car and I crashed it.
How old?
Like 14. I didn't know how to drive, but I was like in my rebellious era.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to have like that adrenaline, because if you take too much care of your kids, and this is like common, there's a lot of research on this, they will become a pain in the ass because you never gave them that freedom. So they're gonna seek it by accident, without telling their parents, and it's gonna create chaos.
Yeah.
So they were like, she's going to go insane. We don't want her here.
Yeah.
She's safe in at least they don't know what I'm doing, and they're not like thinking about the next thing I'm gonna do. So yeah, it was a no-brainer for everyone.
Did any of your rebellious era come to England with you?
Yes.
What's the stories, Lara?
Oh no.
Let's go for it, please.
No. But it was, yeah.
You must have one story that can come to mind.
I have one, but I can't say it on camera. But it's funny, but I can't say it. But it was very entrepreneurial of me. That's all I'm gonna say.
But wouldn't you say, with the nature of the podcast, showcases business entrepreneurship, if that story is linked to entrepreneurship, it's a story to be told?
Maybe in our second round.
Okay, maybe in the second round. What happens when you leave boarding school then? What age was that?
Yeah, so I finished my A-levels. So I did my IGCSEs because I couldn't do 2 years.
Okay, yep.
And then I did A-levels.
A-levels was in boarding school as well? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that point, because that's when you leave the school, right?
Yeah, so I went to university.
Yep. Lived out there as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I did A-levels in this town called Wellington.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wellington is
Wellington. It's in Somerset as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a small town, even smaller than Taunton.
Mm-hmm.
So there was just a pub, a co-op, and the school.
Okay, yep. So just those three things. That's your triangle.
Yeah, that was crazy for me, peak 16-year-old crazy lifestyle.
Yeah.
So all I had to do is be at school and get bored and go to church.
Yep.
And play netball, which I refuse to do because the nature of it to me is just ridiculous. But whatever. Or play hockey, which also, no.
Yep.
I like cycling, but they wouldn't let me do that. So I just ate cookies instead. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I'm sure in boarding schools you have summer holidays and, different holidays or seasonal breaks. Where do you go then? Or do you stay at the school?
Yeah, no, it was horrible.
What was it?
So they send you to I can't remember what they called it, like a guest house.
Yeah.
And it's like this really strange, I think about it often and it grosses me out actually. So many people would offer to companies. So there's a massive business model here for anyone. Okay, so you offer to host international kids into your home while your other kids are at school or something, and so they put you into their kids' rooms and kind of like rented through half term or something. You're there for 2 weeks and you stay in someone else's room.
That's so interesting.
It's like Airbnb
yeah,
for like
kids.
students.
Yeah.
And then you can pay a premium because it's like high demand, low supply.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start that business together.
100% I'm on it.
Okay.
Do you know, I think you are the first person I've ever met in my whole entire life who's gone to boarding school.
Really?
So that's probably why I'm bombarding you with the questions about
the
school
go
and stuff
ahead.
like that.
Boarding school is crazy. It's not wild. It's not like in TV on TV. Unfortunately, just very strict. I couldn't really do anything other than sneak out to the pub with a fake ID.
When you was in school, did you ever have a sense of, I need to make money?
No.
Because, I was going to say, because essentially, like, once again, if I relate to my story in my school, there was a whole lot of us kids who were either selling sweets or wanted to do certain things. For example, if we wanted to play PlayStation, wanted to buy the latest game, our parents, a lot of them would make us do things to earn that money to go and buy that game. Whereas in boarding school, it's kind of like everything's all in-house. You don't really need to go outside to see your friends. You don't need the latest bike. You don't need the latest game console, whatever it may be. So I'm thinking in that sense, when did money come into a factor of your life? Understanding that you need to create
there
wealth
was
for yourself.
one time that I can say that I wanted to work, but it was just for the vibes.
Okay, yeah, as always, yeah.
It was just for the vibes. Like I saw this job posting at my second school and it wasn't what I thought it would be. So they posted this thing on the group at school or whatever. And it was like, we're looking for babysitters. You can apply.
Yep.
And so me and my roommate, she was Chinese. We applied, obviously, because we were so excited. Like, yes, job experience. Like, everybody's telling us to do it. We can't really get it outside because we're not allowed to go outside.
Yep.
So we saw this, applied, and went to our headmaster. And we were like, yeah, we're here to apply for this job. And he looked at us straight in the eye. He's like, this job is not for you. Are you going to steal our jobs or something? I was like, what? He's like, this is for English girls, not for you.
Okay, interesting.
And at that time, I couldn't really understand what he meant. But I do ponder about it every so and then, especially that year. And I think that was my first, the first time I came across micro racism. Almost like, are you going to steal our jobs? Like, these jobs aren't for you. And that really fueled me. Not to become an entrepreneur. I didn't have an interest until 3 years later. But as to how people perceive other people for no reason. And so that really hurt me. And then I never applied for a job ever again at school.
Do you know what? I never ever talk about politics on the podcast. Not because I avoid it, but it just doesn't come up. But I suppose on the topic of it right now, we're living in a very interesting day and age where there's a lot of racism in the world. You know, Nico Milano, he literally uploaded a video the other day of exposing, exposing so many racist people, right? Other than that encounter there, and that was at such a young age as well, so it can have a traumatic effect.
Yeah.
Throughout your whole career now, which I'm sure we'll get into, have you ever experienced some sort of racism or not a step backwards, but a door that you can't crash through because you're Mexican?
You know what? That was the first and only experience of racism I've ever had in the UK. Mm-hmm. I've experienced more racism in Mexico than I've done in England. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Britain and the United Kingdom has been so incredibly welcoming to me. Mm-hmm. And I think I can attribute that to many factors. One of them is that I assimilated to the culture quite quickly. Like, even down to my mannerisms, bits of my accent, how I act, and then the sarcasm, all these little things I've assimilated, because that was the goal anyway, to not be Mexican, to just truly be living and breathing UK, which I loved. So I never had that, but in Mexico I did. And Mexico is actually known for having a lot of racism within its culture, because we were conquered by the Spanish.
Yep.
So there's a lot of like beef. And so as soon as I left, I didn't really experience that, as at least not about my skin. So
you mentioned a word earlier when you were talking about your upbringing, and you said the word trauma. How would you say the word trauma has shaped you today?
Oh, it's made me the best entrepreneur I could ever be. I think that I often get asked this question: who would you be if you hadn't gone through all of this hardship? And I would say I would be no one. Because that hardship really truly taught me how to persevere, how to excel, and how to solve problems faster with high pressure. I don't think I'd be able to be in the high stakes rooms that I'm in negotiating, or in rooms filled with men and I'm the only woman, without having gone through all of that. So I don't recommend trauma to anyone, but it's definitely an advantage in my life.
Coming into the business side of things now, I suppose entrepreneurship. I suppose your business is derived from social media, right? Mm-hmm. When was the first time you got social media? Were you allowed social media in boarding schools and stuff?
Yeah, we were, but we weren't allowed to use our phones after 8. But I was already a social media fiend by 10, 12.
And what was your platform?
I was
it definitely would have been LinkedIn at 13, 15 years old.
It was Twitter. Okay, I wrote about this 2 years ago, but I was actually Twitter famous growing up.
Yep.
I had one of those accounts that it was like a joke account, like meme size.
Okay, so it wasn't Lara Acosta.
No. Okay. It was like an anonymous page. Yeah. I've never said this on a podcast, and I grew it to like 10, 20K. I can't remember really well. It was ages ago.
Yep.
Then I had to shut it down because I wasn't allowed it. But it was just me posting jokes that were almost like said by an 18-year-old, but I was 12, 11.
Okay, yeah.
And I think I just truly wanted to be cool. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't be cool at school. So I had this persona that was really cool. And that was my first experience of social media and social interaction, how simple words could make something go viral and create all of these commentary around it. It was so fascinating to me. And then Instagram blew my mind, like how a little platform could then contain so many different people's lives.
Yeah.
And then seeing Kylie Jenner turn a selfie into a billion-dollar business based on her lip filler. Mm-hmm. That was also insanely, I guess, it had a massive effect in me without me realizing, because I understood how business worked, especially in the influencer space. Like, I knew that there was ways to make money other than the 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. I was just not interested. but I was fascinated by it. And I've always been fascinated by social media. I grew up watching a lot of YouTube. I would find myself watching Skins.
Yep.
It's a show for free on YouTube. And I think that's also why I really love the UK, because it felt like that. So, and bloggers and Tana Munjo and Jake Paul and Logan Paul, all these people. And I think social media is literally me. Like, I'm obsessed with it. I've always been obsessed with it. And it makes sense why it is my job now.
When I look back at my own life, right, social media, just like you, has always been a part of my life, you know, but I'd always never had big pages on myself. But, you know, I understood that there's so much money to be made in social media, especially with the YouTubers, as you said, you know, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, KSI, whoever it may be. So coming to it, when would you say is a time when you realized it's my time to make money on social media? And was it a plan?
No, it was never planned. I had no other choice than to go to social media and try and manufacture a job for myself. The reason why I became an entrepreneur wasn't because of the money aspirations or because I wanted to build and scale a business. It was because I needed some experience for my CV, because no one would hire me. Because I was such a bad student, because I couldn't follow the rules and I didn't care. Apparently, one of the biggest signs of ADHD is that when you're not interested in something, you just won't do it no matter what.
Yeah.
So that was me. I don't know if I have ADHD, but I definitely resonate with that. So when it came to maths, English, I hated it. So I couldn't care less. Geography, I couldn't care less. Business, I cared, but it was so weird. And then my answers would always be right, but not in the way they wanted me to answer it. So therefore, I wouldn't get the point. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So then I was doing well at school, but then I didn't do well on paper. So then I didn't get into my dream university, which then meant that I wouldn't get my dream job. And then so in that time of me trying to figure out, okay, I've graduated from this university. I've applied to every single job possible, like hundreds of job rejections, couldn't get any of them. So then I was like, okay, I think this is because I don't have work experience, potentially. Maybe I need more, because obviously when you're trying to apply for a job, they're expecting you to have 20 years of experience by 21 years old, right?
Yeah, it's silly.
And so I was like, yeah, great. Okay, let me just go ahead and create this archive of CV. And so I started my first freelancing, kind of like roles as social media manager. Ended up ghostwriting for an MLM, like Herbalife type style. I hated it, but still good for my CV. And every single entrepreneurial thing that I did was in order to put it on my CV so I could get a formal job at like ASOS or Kajabi or whatever. And I didn't get any of them either. And then so something happened between the pandemic. Like the pandemic was like this massive vortex of opportunity for me. It created this spiral of no one was doing anything. So there was so much opportunity to do everything. So I took that and I started kind of going all in again on SMMA. I took an Imangaji course. My dad was like...
Did you? You took an Imangaji course? Yeah, Interesting.
Agency Accelerator.
You know, he watches the podcast sometimes, so if he sees this one, that would be funny.
Yeah, so I took his course and I started SMMA. I hated it because I realized that I wasn't good at Facebook ads, because you need to be really good at maths, and I had no money to spend on Facebook ads, but no one tells you that. So I failed at that. ClickFunnels membership was too expensive for me as well. So I couldn't do that either. But then over time, one failed entrepreneurship to another, one failed attempt at business after the other led me to LinkedIn. And then I posted my first post and it went viral. And that created a brand new opportunity in this blue ocean that's still very much there.
Before we get to that viral post, I have to ask you, was there ever a point where you wanted to give up? From all the rejections from the jobs to then failed businesses, failed opportunities?
No. I had no other choice. There was no single point where I would have given up, because I would be giving up not on myself but on my family. My parents had sacrificed so much for me that it really didn't make sense for me to be like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, if we put it into perspective, my dad was picking cotton on a field when he was 15 or like 10 or whatever, and I wanted to give up at posting on social media and pitching myself to clients, like, it just didn't make sense. So no, I didn't want to give up. There were points in my life that I wanted to give up. Like, I struggled with depression and anxiety. That's when I wanted to give up. But when I beat that, there was nothing else that could stop me. It was just try. And my dad has such belief in me that I had no other choice. If it wasn't going to be for me, it's definitely for him. So, yeah.
Do you think all of that shapes your self-belief of today?
What?
Your whole upbringing, your dad, you know, the motivation behind you, as you just explained there, your dad had been doing that job. Why would you give up on this? And just from meeting you, this is, I think, the second or third time we've met. It's so evident and clear to see, just from speaking to you for 5 minutes, that Lara, you mentioned earlier, chip on the shoulder, but in a good way, and that the self-belief is through the roof, which is always a positive.
I'm delusional as fuck.
Say that again?
I'm delusional as fuck.
But it's a good thing, right?
Yeah. My dad, yes, I owe everything to my dad. Like, he has all the credit ever, and maybe my mentor as well, Richard Moore. He just raised me with such love that I could just never do anything. Like, my life needs to mean something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always say that my life is an extension of his.
Mm-hmm.
And until I won't ever be done until I know that I fulfilled his purpose in this life to my maximum extent. When is that gonna be? I don't know. But I know that right now, this life that I'm living, I know that if he had the chance, he would be living it. So for me as a first generation immigrant, it is my duty to do that. Whatever it takes, because I know the access to the opportunities that I have today, he couldn't have even dreamed of. So who am I to not take advantage of every single thing, right? And I think people find this a little bit complicated when they talk to me, because they're like, oh, but you don't have to live your life for your parents. Like, you know, they love you anyway. And I'm like, it's not that they love me or not. It's that it is my duty as their only daughter to carry on this legacy that they've worked so hard for.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is truly my ultimate motivation for anything. And that's how I was raised, like, to truly pursue my dad's vision. And and I love it. Like, I love his vision, and I'm here for it. So it's not that I have to do it. It's not that everyone's forcing me to do it. It's like, I just feel like I want to. And that is what gets me up every single day. Like, if I don't feel like, oh, maybe I'm tired, I'm burnt out. Okay, there's a job to be done anyway. Like, time is ticking. And we take time for granted so much because we don't see the clock that's ticking. But I see it because it was ticking for me once. Like, I shouldn't be here. I don't know how I made it this far. Not just in life, but in the UK, in my career. Like, every single thing that I did until like 23 would have told you otherwise. Like, you would have looked at me and you would have been like, she's not an entrepreneur.
The odds are stacked against you.
Yeah, everything was like, I had everything going against me. My mental health was down. I truly didn't want to live anymore. I had no interest in business. I had no interest in myself. I had no interest in friends. I had no interest in family. So it was just like, okay, she's going to be one of those losers. And I was ready. But then my dad just looked at me with his eyes with so much love. And I was like, I have to do this. Again, if it's not for me, it's for you.
You said you built 7-figure business, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't you say purpose done, purpose fulfilled?
No, we're only just starting. Because the purpose was never the money. The money's part of the achievement and the journey. But to me, it's the what else? Like, how far can I take my dad's teachings into this world? I don't know what that means. I truly don't know. But I'll just follow my gut until I find the answer. Maybe it's building multiple businesses. Maybe it's speaking in public so I can share his values that he raised me with. And hopefully there's more girls that find joy in life other than materialism and finding the perfect husband and being stay-at-home wives and starting a business and being the perfect, like, a happy woman. Like, he raised me to be a happy woman and intelligent. Like, my dad always prioritized me being intelligent and smart and literate and passionate and loving over an obsession towards gifts and trips and all these things that I see a lot of girls falling into. I was talking to my dad as well. Like, I think the girl boss movement is enabling a lot of this materialism, and I dislike it, and I've been trying to figure out why, because it doesn't affect me. Like, what other girl does, it doesn't really have anything to do with me, but why am I finding it upsetting? And I think it's because I feel like a woman's biggest blessing and asset is their intelligence, and obviously their beauty as well, but you become beautiful by your thoughts, not just by your looks, because your internal self makes you beautiful externally. And so been reflecting on that a lot, but essentially, yeah.
Even as you say that, right, it's so true, because if we want to talk about the conversation of relationships, right, a man, yes, you know, we are naturally attracted to a girl's beauty from the outside. However, when we have deep, intrusive conversations with them, we always see the beauty from within come out, and that overshadows the exterior, if you know what I mean. And we get attracted to the person that they are, and the thoughts and the way they think and the way they act, like all of that characteristics. So you're 100% right on that one as well. Hit the nail on the head. When's the first time you saw your parents when you came to the UK?
When is the first time I saw them?
Yeah. Again, yeah.
After a year. So they had this rule.
And what, did you go to Mexico or did they come here?
They came to me. So they had this strong rule that I couldn't come back to Mexico for a year.
Okay.
They wanted me to fully assimilate to the culture. They didn't want any external influence. They wanted me away for a year.
Yep.
Like, my mom took my SIM card away from me when I was boarding that plane, and she cut it into pieces.
Really?
Yeah. She was like, that's it, your life is done here.
Yep.
And she's like, you have no access to your friends. They're done. Say goodbye to them.
Yep.
Obviously, I had Facebook at the time, and I could still contact them, but I think it was more like symbolic.
Yeah.
That is your old life.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do. They always gave me like free reign of my thoughts and my whatever I wanted to become, but they were like, this is not going to be you.
And I don't even think I've asked you this yet, but when was the point when you realized about your parents? I get it. I get why you sent me here. I get everything you've done and all the choices you've made.
Honestly, like, only until like a year ago.
Really?
2 years ago, yeah. I didn't know why I didn't really take the time to ponder either. But the more I do business and the more I mature as an entrepreneur and as a woman, and, you know, I start thinking about family, and my parents are getting older. There was one time where my values and ethics were being compromised at work, in business. You know how business can be, like, you negotiate and there's different deals and
of course, yeah,
business partners or clients. And I had such a strong moral ground that I've said no to $10,000 deals, $20,000 deals, $15,000 contracts, whatever, because it just didn't align with my values. And someone else in another world would have said yes in a heartbeat. But I said no. And it took me 3 seconds to make that decision. And I just looked at that and kind of almost tried to convince myself to take the money, because that is a significant amount. It's like a life-changing amount of money.
For sure.
And I say no to that. Why? Why am I doing this? I would have begged for this 3 years ago. And so I took the time to think about it, and I just called my mom and I said, thank you. Like, I think that you've raised me with such strong moral values, and I didn't see it before, because they were always very harsh, like very strong-handed in their teachings. And I thought it was mean and very mature. Like, my mom always had this rule that she would never be my friend, but she would always be my mom. So with these values, I just say thank you to them every day. Now, like, it happened 1 year, and then every month, and now it's every single day. Like, thank you, love you.
What would younger Lara have preferred, friend or mum?
Younger Lara, she didn't know what she wanted. She wanted everything at the same time and nothing, but she wanted a friend. But I think being an only child taught me it gave me the biggest leverage that I have right now as an entrepreneur, and that is the ability to be alone. I'm not lonely, but I'm alone. And I like that, because I am not depending on others to see my worth or my happiness. And so I think that was such a big asset that I didn't see coming.
Well, we're going to come into what you depend on your happiness and everything in a minute, but going all the way back, because we, sidetracked, we're going to go back to the first
Trauma?
LinkedIn post.
Oh,
Yeah.
not trauma.
First LinkedIn post, what was it exactly?
LinkedIn post went viral. I think it was 4,000, like 3,000 impressions on the 42 hours. It changed my life. It was just a stupid introduction post. Every single time, people are like, "What was the post? What was the post?" And I was, it wasn't anything kind of. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just the hook says, "Hi, my name is Lara, not Laura, not Clara, and I don't know what I'm doing. But here's some fun facts about me." 4,000 likes for what? And I think at the time, what happened here is that LinkedIn was full of all of these corporate jargon and fluff, that seeing someone come in with such high energy and nothing to take, like I had nothing to sell, I had nothing to ask for, I just was, again, there for the vibes. People resonated with that.
LinkedIn's such an odd platform to post on. Do you know what I mean? Especially in that era when there's no business, there's nothing to sell, nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's almost unconventional to post on LinkedIn at that point. What was it about LinkedIn that...
To be fair, I thought that as well, but then I started spending an hour a day before I posted my first post. There was like a microeconomy going on. There were people going viral every single day, thousands of likes for posts that on Instagram wouldn't even get seen. And so I saw that as there's something here and no one's paying attention. Why? I took the time, I reverse engineered like 10, 20 top accounts like every single social media marketer would say they do. And I did that on LinkedIn. And I realized that the outliers were the personal stories. That's it. People didn't care about sales, they didn't care about B2B, they just cared about the person behind the screen. Because at the time, during COVID and this very strange time that we had, people just wanted true connection. We went through a connection crisis during COVID. People were yearning for this type of love and conversation. So starting that meant something, and LinkedIn was the perfect place because LinkedIn wasn't about the flex. It was about who you were at your very core, obviously professional. You're like, what do you think? Like, I want to debate with you. What interesting things do you have to say?
Yeah.
Instead of on Instagram, it's like, what interesting things can you show me? Where's your Lambo?
Yeah.
Where's your next Birkin?
What's the flex? Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
How's your new penthouse in Dubai?
Like the whole lot.
Type.
The whole nine
And
yards.
I personally didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
Like, I only recently got my first luxury item and all of these things. So I found it very intense there for me to compete and be something. Because every time I go on Instagram, even till this day, I feel like I have to pretend to be this person that I'm not. And it's quite harmful to my brain. Even now, no matter how much work I've done internally, it still feels like, again, another vortex where you have to play this pretend game of, look at me, look at my clothes, look at my new thing, like I have this new thing, look at my apartment. Like, I don't like that. So that essentially was why I went on LinkedIn. I found a place where I would be known and liked by my knowledge and my intelligence, not because of my looks. And that was incredibly important for me as a 23-year-old trying to understand herself and coming into adulthood.
You know, when you mentioned the first, not tweet, what do you call it? LinkedIn post, I suppose. Is there any catchphrase for it? Or
LinkedIn post?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just call it that.
When you mentioned it at the event, I don't know if you saw after, I don't know you did because you commented on it, the LinkedIn post that I'd done.
Yeah.
Right? I told you my, not hatred for LinkedIn, but I hate writing. I would avoid writing at all costs. I don't even have an English GCSE up until this day.
Wait, really?
Yes, I swear. Like I was meant to resit it, but then
You didn't.
you
gave up.
Yeah, no, I didn't even give up. I just bypassed it somehow.
Well, I think you speak very good English.
But
Congrats.
thank you very much. But I think it's purely from podcasts, right? I can.
Wait, is English not your first language?
No, it is.
Okay.
But I'm saying the English I've developed
Yeah.
has purely been for me speaking to people or listening to podcasts because that's all I ever do. But writing's not my thing, and I expressed this to you at the time. You know, you've jinxed it because now that you said my English is good, I'm gonna the whole thing up now. But I expressed to you that I don't like LinkedIn, right? And even the LinkedIn post before that, if I could look at it, they were pretty much all ChatGPT because I literally just prompted it saying, say this, say that.
Well, that's the problem.
Copy, paste. And then I thought, you know what, after what Lara said, I'm going to say how I feel about LinkedIn. I think I wrote, hey, I'm Raheem. I fucking hate LinkedIn and that is it. But video's more my thing, or talking's more my thing, which is why I created a second Instagram page to express my thoughts and opinions rather than just posting bullshit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think LinkedIn is for everyone, or do you think everyone should be doing it anyway?
No, I don't think personal branding is for everyone. Not everybody is front facing, so let's start there. Then each platform suits a different type of character, and then that character can then build teams that know how to illustrate that character elsewhere. So when I built my first business that scaled to 6 figures, the ghostwriting agency, the clients would be people like you who were like, I don't know how to write, I don't have the time, I hate the platform, but I know there's something there. I know I can get clients. So turn me into a LinkedIn authority.
Okay, yeah.
And so what we do is we turn it into words. What happens on LinkedIn is very similar to Instagram, but people can't mix and match because people have learned to speak on camera, but not write.
That's me.
To me, writing is the biggest asset when you're a marketeer, because writing is everything. It's a script, it's
copy.
It's an email, it's a text, whatever. It can close deals. So what I did with clients, I would look at their keynote speeches or their sales goals, then adapt their language, and then we had frameworks. Well, I had built frameworks of what works, what hooks work, exactly like on Instagram, but on written form. And then the only thing that you have to do that is different is make your hook so good that people want to read the rest, and then make the rest so good and so short that people understand the thing. The problem that people have with LinkedIn is that they
the right essays.
speak. It's too long. And even when you prompt ChatGPT to do it for you, ChatGPT, when you tell it to create a LinkedIn post, it doesn't know what a LinkedIn post is because people just don't write on LinkedIn, so there's not enough data collected for that.
Yeah.
So it will create you an Instagram caption with emojis, with long captions, maybe an email. It might sound like a script. And so LinkedIn has its own way of formatting that is required for people to actually be retained. Almost like visual hooks on TikTok. We have visual hooks on text form. People just don't understand that. So let me explain that quickly. On LinkedIn, the best type of post is the one that's around 800 characters long, and that 800 words long. And that's because that's about 2 scrolls long on your phone, because around 65 to 70% of people scroll on LinkedIn on their phone.
Yep.
So with that, they're trying to consume short form media, not long form essays filled with jargon. So you get the hook, they click on see more, and then if you format it with bullet points, with a listicle, and it solves one problem, it shows them how to solve that problem, and then a small call to action that is like engagement farming. So how did you find this podcast? Who should I have next on the podcast? Then that starts this cycle that then starts creating momentum for everyone so they can stay on the platform longer. LinkedIn actually has this thing where people that are new to the platform or are coming back, it will naturally push them further on the platform because they want you to stay. So if you get that right, and you get the formatting right, and you get your photo right, not video, photo, because video doesn't work on LinkedIn, not yet. It's coming soon, but not yet.
People upload reels and stuff, or not reels, but like that version on LinkedIn, right?
So something crazy is going to happen to LinkedIn soon. I came back from the LinkedIn HQ.
Why do I feel? I was just gonna say, why do I feel like you've got insiders in LinkedIn?
Yeah. So I came back from the LinkedIn headquarters 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't believe what they said. They were telling me that they were going to go all in on video again. And I've been hearing this for 3 months, but I had seen no proof. And I'm quite vocal about how much I hate video on LinkedIn. But they are trying to truly push that further in the next year. I've seen their investments. They had a whole pop-up in Cannes. They're sending influencer boxes to Instagram people with DJI mics and cameras.
Okay, yeah.
So they're all in. There's true investment going in, so there is no way that they're going back on this. However, this is not LinkedIn's first time trying video. They actually tried and failed quite badly. A lot of Instagram creators were posting their reels and they were getting millions of impressions. There's a lot of people were talking about it. I was getting 1 million impressions per post. That was crazy. But then it stopped working after around 3 months, 6 months, because the platform there was just not enough demand for it. People just didn't know how to use video.
I'm literally going to scroll through my LinkedIn profile because I feel like I've got memory of videos. Okay, I just posted one video apparently. You got 5 likes. But hot take for you right here. You mentioned, ChatGPT hasn't got enough of the data to create LinkedIn posts.
Yeah. It's probably got it now, but not as well.
We're in a day and age where AI is taking over a lot of things, right? I can write video scripts with AI, obviously tweak it and stuff like that myself. But do you think LinkedIn, you can't be using AI, but it still revolves and is still heavily used by your own humane thoughts, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
So would you say that then, yeah?
About LinkedIn?
Yeah.
So can you write posts without AI on LinkedIn? Or
would you say AI doesn't work so much for LinkedIn yet?
I would say AI doesn't work for anything unless you know how to use it well. Like the AI Gold Rush is presented to be this thing about the next business model being an AI agent agency. The next best business model is an AI dropshipping agency. The best business model is the business model that you already have with AI. The secret and the powerful hack of the Gold Rush is you and your intellect and your ability to make things go faster with AI.
Yep.
So if you already have all the content, you have all your documents, you have podcast scripts, which you do, then if you put them into a tool that knows how to write specifically for LinkedIn, and then you just have all that asset, which is yours, you built that's your IP, you did all the work, you don't have to start another thing. You put that into an AI, it will write you the perfect LinkedIn post. But most people just don't know how to prompt ChatGPT right. Like that is the main problem that we have for the past 2 years. People want to use ChatGPT, but they don't even know how. So now there's tools in the market that will do that for you. So there's so much room for AI to write like you, to think like you, to even do it better than you.
Your first business then, you said, was ghostwriting agency.
Yes.
Why? And where did that come from? When tell me through the timeline, right? So from your first viral LinkedIn post to then coming up with the idea of ghostwriting and creating that as your first business. Because you didn't have an idea for businesses before, nor did you really want to go into it. So,
yeah, I also failed English.
so tell me where that comes from.
I failed English. I didn't have an interest for reading. I've never read a copywriting book. It was never like this business that I wanted to build and scale. Oh my God, ghostwriting, I love it. No, it happened by accident. My first LinkedIn post, what it did was it brought me leads for a business that I didn't have. So people saw me go viral and consistently do it by accident because I don't know what I was doing. And then the CEOs that had budget, they were like, we like what you're doing. Can you do it for us? And I was like, sure. And I did some for free. And then I started charging like $500. And
Per
then
post or?
Per month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't know. Like I also, when you're a freelancer, you don't really see your worth because you would have done that for free anyway. So who are you to charge?
Yeah.
And so there's where most people fail at business because most people don't have that entrepreneurial instinct of charging, especially women. We are almost like brought up to be pleasing, and asking for something is quite hard, I find. So I'm so lucky that I had my dad kind of like guiding me, and my mentor that found me through LinkedIn as well. And I could ask him like, hey, how do I charge? How do I make my first proposal? And then this freelancing mini gig that I was only doing to put on my CV then turned into an entire agency powered by AI.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'd never hired anyone. I was able to scale the business from 2 clients to 15 using AI when it first came out 3 years ago. And then that fueled my entire business. But I didn't have the automations and all of these things. It wasn't an AI-powered agency. Like, that wasn't even a thing. Actually, saying AI anything back then was offensive.
Okay.
You would get in trouble if you said AI. But now it's like, oh my God, AI this, AI that. No, I've been using AI this whole time. I don't think I would have been able to build a business without AI. So I was able to use ChatGPT to write content faster. It wouldn't write the final draft, but it would get me from idea to research to then me knowing what to write the post about into a final viral post for clients. So that was the first.
Do you still run that business now?
I do still have clients because I don't know how to let them go, but it's still that, but it's not taking any new clients.
Okay, you're not taking
no,
clients.
but I want to start it again, but not yet. Soon. And then that business became my second business, which is the info product business, which is a 7-figure business one.
So the ghostwriting transitioned into the info product. And what's the info product?
The info product is a personal branding course on LinkedIn. So it's now become this whole business model as well that I didn't know. It started as a cohort because I built this 6-figure business at university, and I had to study. Like, I was doing my master's degree. And so it came to a crossroads where I felt like I was either going to have to drop out or carry on doing the master's and drop the business. And because I was burning out. Everybody was telling me to scale. Entrepreneurs, by the way, are obsessed with the word scaling. Scale this, scale that, 10K, 15K, blah, blah. And I was still doing things for the vibes. I was at uni. I was just trying to get a job after my master's. So then my mentors were like, you have a third goal, and that is start selling your time, not just like stop trading time for money. And so that was when the consulting and cohorts and education stuff came in. So I ran my first cohort as a beta, $999 per seat.
Oh, what, a beta?
Yeah, beta test. So like it was like a small round of people without me hyper launching it or anything.
Yep.
So we didn't have a landing page. There was no logo. There was no name. We had no website. I just had a Stripe link.
Yep.
I didn't know what I was gonna do. I figured out along the way. I ended up making like $75,000 to $80,000.
Okay.
At university.
Yeah. Crazy.
What? And so that really led me into this whole info space. But to me, it was still very important to still have a agency to still understand how the market worked. And so that became the info product, still had the agency going, and now we're building a SaaS on top of it. So it's like the entire system, almost again by accident.
I'm going to pause for a second on the businesses and come to this right here. Because aside from everything you do yourself, correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't had another job before then?
Well, I had like mini jobs. I was in door-to-door sales.
Really?
I was a door-to-door sales baddie.
When was that?
Shout out Shelby Sapp.
Oh, do you know, I really wanted to do a podcast with her, but she was in Miami the same time I was there. But
yeah, I could have been her.
Sales. When did that happen?
I was in Birmingham.
Really? Okay. And what age?
I was 21, 22.
Oh, so this is after university then?
Yeah, it was my first job.
Yeah.
I was scammed into door-to-door sales, by the way.
You were scammed into?
Yeah. So on LinkedIn, I was looking for a job, and there was this job opening.
Mm-hmm.
I was easy applying everything, by the way. I couldn't be bothered to apply with an actual CV.
Mm-hmm.
So they accepted me. I went to get my first interview at this sports marketing executive role. Sports marketing executive role. There's no mention of door-to-door sales. So I went to the offices and they interviewed me. It was really this grand thing. And I thought, okay, this is cute. There were actual offices. And then they took me around Birmingham. And again, I was impressed, thought, this is cool. They're taking me around, giving me a tour. I feel like home. I was very excited. I couldn't get a job. So this was my first opportunity. And so they were like, yeah, you got the job. I was like, great. Okay, when do I start? Tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. And then I started realizing, oh, so we get put into this room. They're teaching us Wolf of Wall Street type of tactics.
Mm-hmm.
They took me into the field, which is just literally the street.
On the street, yep.
But they call it the field.
Yeah.
They put me next to like this box and, hey, yeah, you have to start pitching. And I'm like, okay, but where's my desk?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's no desk.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, did you not understand that from your interview? And I was like, no, you guys said marketing role. I expect like a computer or something. No, you just need to learn your pitch and start pitching. Oh, but it said base salary 20K, 30K plus commission. Yeah, until you make it past a certain point, you get a salary. Oh, okay. And then something in me made me stay. I don't know, it was like me just being stupid.
How long did you stay for?
Like 3 months. I was working for free because I was bad at sales. Not for me. I'm an introvert. The rejection, imagine me selling you gas and electric.
Yep.
I'm Mexican. Like, what the fuck is Shell? What the fuck is Octopus Energy?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a failure. So that was my first job.
So what did you learn? Not like what did they teach you? I'm saying about yourself or about door-to-door sales, about marketing. What is it that you learned?
I definitely learned what I didn't want to do in my life.
Okay, fair enough. That's an easy one.
I learned that people will do whatever it takes to make money, and that scared me.
Yeah.
I would see people literally convincing grandmas to switch from their perfectly fine electricity provider to something worse with words manipulation. You can call it, marketing tactics, etc. But I guess that for me was my first interest into psychology as well. Like understanding what makes people change their minds even though the result is obviously wrong. How could you get a stranger to give you their car details within 10 minutes?
Yeah.
That was interesting. I couldn't do it because I just didn't believe in the product. And again, that I think my values that were so strong. Why would I sell gas and electric? This is weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I learned that. But beyond that, I just learned people's ability to sell, people's ability to deceive, and what I didn't want to do in my life ever again.
The point I was coming to was the fact that you was in university and you was applying for all these jobs, rejection after rejection after rejection. At what point did you realize in your own businesses, hold on, I don't need a job anymore. I don't need to chase for a job. I am my own boss.
When did I realize this? I guess when I stopped the agency, because when you have an agency, you're still sort of in a job, unless you've scaled it to a point where you've scaled yourself out of it. But you're still at a mercy of clients and how volatile they can be, especially with the agency world.
Yeah.
Like I have agencies that work with me now, and I feel really bad when I'm just changing my mind last minute about this hook, and I'm just starting a tantrum for no reason. Like I sympathize, but also I get me, and I know best. But that agency is hard because clients are emotional, especially when it's their own personal brands, when it's their name and their authority being put on the spotlight. So when I started the education stuff and the consulting stuff and now the software, I now know that I'll never need to work ever again. But that only happened like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago.
You mentioned other businesses that you started and doing. I didn't quite catch them because I had the other stuff in my mind. So you had the agency.
Yeah,
then
education.
you transitioned that to the info product.
Yes.
Then after that came?
The SaaS. So we have a software called Clio.
Yep.
And it's basically a ghostwriter in your pocket, a content creator that will write these pieces of content that ChatGPT is failing to do for business owners that are trying to create content on LinkedIn and Twitter, etc. So that's
so purely
what we built.
written content.
Yeah, it's made specifically for LinkedIn content that performs, and it writes like you. It knows you because you've given it the data, and it also learns from you. So we've developed it so it has a whole onboarding system that just asks you questions that are good enough for us to understand. And then we can write content that it almost like reads your mind.
Lara, there's always strategies and ways for people to compete on social media or become the best version of themselves. So in your case with LinkedIn, what would you say the best tools people can use to become the best versions of themselves on those platforms?
So I found a hack 3 years ago. My friend Jake built it. I was talking about it earlier. And he built this product that he needed to write better content faster because he was also trying to build a business and didn't have time to understand LinkedIn. So he built Clio, and Clio is the tool that I'm now co-founding with him that writes content for you. So that is the ultimate tool that any person could be using right now. It will write you a LinkedIn post based on an idea. It's like a chat, like ChatGPT, but even better because it's built by me, who has 280,000 followers on there, knows exactly what you need to do. It has my brain and my strategies plugged into it, plus Jake's, who is also a top creator. He's got 180,000 followers. He's an SEO guy. So if an SEO guy in a very boring business and in a niche can build a massive personal brand that goes viral and brings pipeline every single month, anyone can. So we built that for that.
Where does the name Cleo come from?
Austin Kleon, still like an artist.
Okay. I thought it might be like, Lara's brain could be called Lara, like something like that.
No, Cleo, it's got a beautiful name. We both really like Still Like an Artist because that's essentially what most people can't do.
Yeah.
So we loved his fundamental there.
So when I look at it, did you create the other businesses to kind of make the other businesses easier and flow a lot better for yourself? And I suppose they turn into other empires of their own.
So, the ghostwriting business was just the first business.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I was writing about this earlier. I didn't love ghostwriting, but I fell in love with ghostwriting because I got good at it. At it. People like the things that they're good at. People hate the things that they're bad at.
Of course,
When you're following your passion and it doesn't make you money, you resent it. but when you follow your passion and it makes you money, you love it. So I turned this business idea that I was good at into my passion. Then the second passion was teaching, which came quite naturally because I had fallen in love so much with writing and how powerful that is for any entrepreneur to nail, that teaching it became a no-brainer. And then I became really good at that, and that scaled itself. Like, I barely sold it. Never really promoted. I'm not the sales type of girl. I'm the, here you go. You can buy it. If you don't want to buy it, cool. But it's the best thing you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And because I was so passionate about teaching this topic, it really kind of created this wave on LinkedIn. It's one of the best courses on LinkedIn personal branding there ever is. Because there's just no, people will teach Sales Navigator and how to pitch. And I teach the psychology behind words. And that's what makes a piece of content good and a personal brand strategy actually work on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And then with the SaaS, well, it just came by accident. Like, my best friend Jake, he created a product that solved his own problem. And then he brought me along because I was the first user for it 3 years ago.
Oh, fair play.
Yeah.
Laura, I'm really interested to know this, right? And I kind of want you to answer this question, if possible, without mentioning your parents. What do you do all of this for?
What do I do all of this for?
Yeah.
Without mentioning my parents. Wow. What do I do all of this for? Because there was, once upon a time, this girl, she was 16 years old, and she never thought that she could do everything that she's doing now. I'm doing it for her. I'm living the wildest dreams that I don't think she ever thought that she could even dream of. I am dressed like she would like me to be dressed. I speak like she would want me to speak. I have the friends that she was praying to God for. I have the most amazing female friendships. I have the most amazing male friendships. I have the dream mentors, and I have the dream apartment that she would have loved to be in. So I'm doing it for her.
Would you say that's what keeps you motivated, to see how far you can really push yourself to see where you can get to and show that 16-year-old?
No, what keeps me motivated is my haters and people that have done me wrong.
Would you say you have haters?
I've got people that have done me wrong. Not haters, but people that have done me wrong, and that's it.
In life, in business, what?
Everywhere, like even down to that teacher that told me I wouldn't amount to anything when I was 18. Every single time I've been featured on Forbes, I sent him the screenshot on Facebook.
Really?
I think he blocked me now. I do it for him.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out him. No, honestly, I'm just thinking about it. Like, it's such an amazing journey coming from Mexico to England and now smashing it in here. You mentioned, a couple of things there. And I want to touch on this because, when you came to England, you came to Somerset. And now, obviously, I'm not going to mention the area in which you reside now. But it goes to show that it's an area that you chose. And I suppose you can only really live there and have an apartment like that when you get to a certain level of success, would you say? Right? When do you start, in essence, spoiling yourself and living the higher life?
I guess it's such a individual thing. There is a thing that's called life inflation, and I don't like it. Like, you are consistently feeling like you need to spend more money depending on how much more money you're in, and obviously the circles that you then find yourself in. The Rolexes, the bags, the cars, and then you find yourself thinking, do I need these things? That's what Dubai does to me, by the way. Every time I go to Dubai, I feel like I need to have all of these things, and it puts me in anxiety central because I'm not like that. And so do you truly want those things? Do you truly want the high rise, or do you feel like you have to fit in? I think that is when you should be able to make the decision. Whether, obviously, you need to be able to afford it, but do you want it? Do you want that car? Do you want that bag? Do you want that watch? I've met so many people that bought their first Rolex and then they have never worn it more than one time or something. So there's so many cases like that where you feel like you have to buy this thing to then be this person that you've been working all of this time to become, but then you become this person and you're like, oh, well, actually, I don't need to do this, but I feel like I have to because everybody has done it. And when you think about it like this, Do you think all of these material things to be happy? Probably not. Do you want them? Okay. But do you want them? Not your parents, not Instagram, not social media, you. Would this make you happy? Does this mean anything to you? And if the answer is yes, then sure, stop buying these things. My first apartment, I remember my dad was in the UK, and it was the first apartment I was able to afford. Like, I moved to London straight into this apartment, and he sat in the sofa, and I have this photo memorized of him sitting, and he was feeling so accomplished of like, yeah, this is it in Canary Wharf. Next to the furniture was beautiful, it was nice. And so I think then that was cool. That meant something. I'm not doing it for anyone else. Well, I guess I am. But it's fulfilling this purpose that I have, not for flex, but for true happiness.
I'm going to ask you something, right? And I want to see where it goes. When you look at yourself and you understand the characteristics you have, the decisions you make, how you go about and move in life, would you say you have more of a feminine energy or a masculine energy?
Oh, you tell me.
I'm torn between the two.
Is it the haters part?
No, not the haters part at all. Just, I'm like, we've been sat down for an hour and a half now or something like that. And I could definitely see the feminine side for sure. But I feel like you've also got the masculine side when it comes to decision making and just doing things quick on the spot and strategy. What would you? That's why I didn't want to answer it. I wanted to see what you say for yourself.
I'm always interested because I don't know. What was the question? Am I more masculine or feminine?
Yeah.
I think I'm both. This is a very strong debate around the idea of a girl boss. Because girl boss is almost offensive to some people. Mm-hmm. Some men would call women girl bosses and actually mean it as a demeaning way. And I understand it because...
Is it offensive to you or...?
I say I'm a girl boss for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually believe I'm a girl boss. I'm just a female, like a business owner. I don't think I fit into that girl boss persona because I don't have the car. I don't have the Pilates matcha lifestyle. I don't trade crypto. And I don't care to go to Nobu for dinner. Or if a man takes me... my first date with a man is at fucking, I don't know, an expensive restaurant and he has to bring me flowers. I don't care. I care about being happy. I had to become quite masculine to be where I am right now because you have to. And that is a sacrifice that I had to take for 2-3 years. Decision making, being quite lonely, not really prioritizing self-care and going to the spa and all these things. Like, because if I had been like that, I don't think I'd be anywhere. I'd be complaining about everything. Or like work-life balance isn't for anyone. And so feminine energy is about caring for yourself and nurturing and everything. I had to let that go for sure. Like for the first 2 years, I was literally quite masculine. Not really. Like I don't think that I had like, if you sit down with me for more than 2 hours, you'll see that I'm quite feminine. But when it came to building a business, like, man.
Well, not even just that. I look at the point where you came to the UK. Like, I reckon it started there.
I think, yeah. But I don't see that as a bad thing. I think we're all a great balance of masculine and feminine energy. I just think that you need to know when it's time to exert both of them. So I did that. I still do that a lot in business, but in my personal life, I'm just a girl. I don't know what I'm doing. And
further to the point, and this wasn't on the agenda at all when it came to sitting down at this table and having a podcast with you, and it depends if you want to have the conversation about dating life, because, and the only reason I'm asking is because coming to that point right there, I just want to know as a successful young female, how you find it and how someone is meant to be compatible with you and I suppose, because naturally a man is always going to want to be the provider and stuff like that, right? Mm. If we're talking traditionally anyway. But how does it all come down with you? Do you think I find it hard to date right now? I would actually say the opposite and say it's easier for you to date. And I would even say you are you give vibes that you're in a relationship, but a very where both of you know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. What would you say? I don't have a boyfriend. Yep. I wish, but do I find it hard to date?
I don't, because I'm not trying. I have these conversations with my highly successful friends, which I'm very privileged to have, by the way. I'm surrounded by high-performing men who are very driven. They are the providers, and I talk to them a lot. They always ask me, like, when are you going to get a boyfriend? And I'm just like, when I'm ready. Because right now, this version that I am today is not the ideal woman that I want to be for my future husband. And that is a decision that I've taken quite seriously, where I would love to be in a relationship. I just know that I'm not the person that I need to be this perfect girlfriend. And that is intentional.
What version of Lara does that look like?
Well, look at me, like I'm traveling here and there. I'm a girl boss. I'm working so hard. I'm building all of this business. I have to exert all of this masculine energy that by the time I come home and I have to relax, that's it. That's all I want to have. I don't want to be taking care of someone else. And I know that the woman that I want to be in a relationship, I truly want to give that love and have that time and space for that person so I can help them reach their goal, which is obviously going to be bigger than mine. If not the same, maybe bigger. And I would love that. I don't want to be the provider. I don't want to be the girl boss that have a stay-at-home husband. Like, absolutely not. But what I do want to be is a woman that's accomplished all of her goals, that's exerted her intelligence to the ultimate level, that's made my dad so proud. And for me, I just want to accomplish everything that I know I can do. Because, again, if someone from Mexico looked at how much opportunity I have, especially little Lara, and decided to give all of that up for potentially finding a partner, I don't think that partner would be right for me, because they would know that I'm quite... I have so many things to do, and like, we're not done yet. So until then, I don't know when that time will come though.
What if you had a partner that matches your energy? Everything you just said there,
Yeah.
You're working on so many different things, bouncing from country to country, you do whatever you like. What if a partner came in and matched that same energy? Like, they're doing their own thing, you're doing your thing. But then almost like the perfect example, Layla and Alex Hormozy, right? They're both doing their things,
Yeah.
but then they come home at the end of the day and they're still watching movies together.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not like Layla going on Hinge and scrolling until she found Alex.
Fairs.
I don't like dating apps. I find them quite annoying, and I refuse to go on them. But she the thing with her...
I'm with you on that as well, by the way.
I've analysed her situation a lot, because I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But she made the time to find that partner. And I'm not making the time. And if I'm not making the time, it's because it's truly not a priority for me. Because dating is long and it's distracting. And I only have so much time of focus for me to go on dates or go on Hinge. And even the idea of setting on my profile is just already giving me anxiety. Like, what photo do I pick for? I don't know. What prompt?
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Like, I don't know. Just look at my LinkedIn. Okay, we can build a connection there.
That's your dating profile on LinkedIn.
That's my funnel.
Yeah.
But even there, like, she made an active effort to find her husband. And I don't think I can give myself that time yet. Because, again, if I went on a date, I don't think I'd be able to prioritize the date. I'll be thinking about work.
Different things.
Yeah, and I don't think that would be respectful to the person that I end up on a date with. It's a priorities thing.
Yeah.
When something matters to you, you prioritize it no matter what. That's why people that smoke will find the way to smoke anytime, no matter how difficult it is. That's why alcoholics will find a way to drink. Drug addicts will find drugs, no matter how much money they have or not. We will find time to work, even though we're standing in, like, you're jet lagged, I'm sleep deprived. We're still here having a uninterrupted conversation for 2 hours because we're prioritizing this. Would I do that for a date right now? No. No, I wouldn't. But perhaps, maybe it's because I haven't met the right person. Maybe it's because I haven't allowed myself to feel like I'm good enough for that person as well. That's a lot of work that I'm doing internally, and it's gonna take me so long. But yeah. So dating, no, nothing. I haven't really gone on dates for a year, 2 years. Oh yeah, a year.
No, fair. I hope that the right partner does come along naturally
so.
as well. I think naturally is always better. But Laura, what would you say means the world to you right now?
What means the world to me right now?
At this stage in life
My
right
dad.
now.
My dad and my mom. Like, seeing them happy.
I don't know why I haven't asked this question, but how do they feel about the positions you put yourself in?
They love it. My dad is living vicariously through me. And I think that's what energizes me the most. When I'm in situations and I feel my dad's presence in me, and it's just so great. When I'm speaking at a conference, I just feel him. He's with me. And I have this very strong thing that I don't want to regret not loving my dad more. Because so many people regret not loving their parents until they're gone, like when they're gone, when they die. And I don't want to have regret that I didn't say I love you enough, that I didn't do this thing enough, that I didn't pursue his thing enough and didn't show him. Like, I am hyper aware that time is ticking, like we're not eternal. And so knowing that right now I'm just living his life and truly through him and his ideas, then yeah, that's what makes me happy. And seeing my mom happy also makes me happy. Like, my mom loves gifts and I can buy her as many gifts as she wants. Yeah. So she's happy. And with my dad, he loves the game. He loves the infinite game that is entrepreneurship. And I'm so glad I can carry that with me through however many generations.
Do they still live in Mexico?
Yes.
Would they want to move to London if like that? Because based on what you just said right there, you know.
My dad loves it. My mom hates it. So my mom is the decision maker of the house. So no.
Would you want to spend more time with them? Because going on the basis of what you just said right there,
I don't have time now.
You don't have time to?
No.
Or?
No, I don't think I could. I think I would love them to be here. It is a goal of mine, and I think that's also what I'm working towards, like buying them a home here.
Or what if you went to Mexico?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, fair play.
Absolutely not. I would not. No. I think that after living in Europe, when I was brought up in Mexico, the difference is incredible. There's a very big difference of living in Mexico for a few months and treating it as a holiday versus living in Mexico as a true citizen.
Well, what's like America? I just get New York vibes from you as well. Like, I feel like
New York.
Yeah,
I love New York.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, New York could be closer to Mexico than London is. Do you know what I mean?
I love the British humor so much. Like, I know my husband is British. I know my kids are going to be British. I know my legacy is going to be built in the UK. I love it here so much, and I like sarcasm here.
Yep.
The American humor doesn't really.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's so interesting how you say that. That you said the words I know, and it's almost a form of manifestation. Like, you know the way your life is gonna be.
Yeah, we're gonna run this back at my wedding or when I build like my 20th business, and I'm gonna be like, yes, take that back.
100%. Well, look, Laura, as we come towards the end of the podcast, if we had to imagine all your LinkedIn posts have been taken away, all your Instagrams have been taken away, there's nothing else of Lara Acosta online aside from this podcast, and you had to wrap it up in 3 lessons, what would it be?
To start my first business again.
Anything. Doesn't have to be business related, doesn't have to be, it could be anything you like.
The first lesson would be learn to be alone. We are so hyper dependent on other people that we forget how to think by ourselves. But when you start thinking by yourself, you understand what all the things you need to do. The more time alone you spend, the more freedom you have, the better your thoughts become. And that is so powerful in a world that's filled with sheeps. Don't follow the herd, just lead it instead. So that's my first one. The second one would be learn how to write. That is the best and highest income skill you could ever learn. It's free to start. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to start writing every single day, and ultimately you will get good at it. The competition is so low, especially with ChatGPT now. Like, people think that they can write all these emails and start an AI automation email agency, but they don't understand the core fundamentals of psychology within writing. But if you take a year or even 6 months and you read one book by, it's called Influence by Robert Cialdini, you have everything. You have $1 million business right there. High income scale, highly profitable, free to start. That's all you need. You'll figure everything else out after. And the third thing would be, I'd say that imposter syndrome isn't real. It's just a manifestation of you not being good at things. You're not bad at things, you're just new at them. I would say that. Learn how to take action immediately so that imposter syndrome goes away. Because it's only there because you're allowing it to be there. But it will go away as soon as you do things.
Yeah. Oh, Lara, I love that. Thank you so much for coming on. I feel like this is completely different to what we both imagined in terms of a podcast, but I'm so glad it went this way. I'm going to check the questions on all that sort of stuff.
For none of them.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm just going through literally a brief look and I'm like, right, they're all strategy related, but I feel like...
For LinkedIn strategy, just go to my YouTube.
Yeah, there we go. Go to that.
Buy my course.
That's it.
I just launched my new content writing SaaS. It's called Clio, and it will write LinkedIn posts for you. And I'm launching a new program with Shan Hanif, owner of Genflow.
Yeah. I had him on the podcast like.
I saw it. I watched it. I watched it. I love Shan. He's great. So we're launching a business together.
Yeah.
And it's specifically solving every single question about LinkedIn for business owners. Like, I don't know how to write. I don't know how to convert. I know there's pipeline in there. That is me and Shan. He's built an 8-figure agency. I built a 6-figure agency and a 280,000 follower LinkedIn personal brand. So we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So if you want to become a LinkedIn authority, link below.
The link is going to be below. Guys, we can only improve as a podcast if you give us your feedback. So all I ask from you guys is to leave your feedback in the comments. Let me know what you thought about Lara's story and the value that she gave. And also follow us both on social media. Mine's at Raheem KA. And everything will be linked in the description once again. So until then, guys, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you lot on the next episode of CEOcast next Sunday. Peace.